Hello, chess friends, and welcome to your Out of Chess channel, and welcome to another brilliant and spectacular gameplay by Stockfish against another top engine laser in an amazing mainline of the classical variation of the Caro-Kann defense. But this game is really crazy. You see here we are unparalleled endgame technique here by Stockfish. Very crazy endgame performance in my opinion. Also great defensive game, because in one particular moment Stockfish will show great defensive tactics, and then afterwards, as I said, beautiful immortal endgame technique. So let's see now what happened with the white pieces. This is now not the latest version of Stockfish, but it's Stockfish 15. But I guarantee you here the Stockfish 15 will play also like our best friend, the Stockfish 16 chess engine. So here after move e4, we have now the move c6 by laser. We have d4, d5 here by laser, and after knight to c3, d takes e4. We're now in the main line of the Caro-Kann defense after move knight takes e4. Bishop to f5 leads now into the classical variation. Knight to g3, we're now in the main line of the classical variation after move h4. We have h6, laser creates here some breathing spaces for the bishop, and now knight to f3. The usual attacking idea to force a further retreatment of the bishop with the progressive idea knight to e5. We have here knight e6 by laser. Stockfish continues with knight to e5, forces the retreatment here of the bishop to h7, and now continues with bishop to d3. This is still a very usual idea in the Caro-Kann defense from white's perspective. We want to get here rid of the light square bishop, which controls of course many light squares here on this side of the board. Bishop takes d3 by laser, queen to d3, knight to d7, and now f4, supporting of course the main advantage, and I would say that's even the only advantage that white is here, the space advantage in the center of the board, which is of course now this powerful knight on e5. And then with the move f4, basically what white is hoping for is of course that maybe black takes, then after something like knight takes e5, f takes e5, white would continue then also with a powerful e pawn, which of course then would be again a new space advantage for white. We have knight from g to f6, bishop to d2. Stockfish prepares here queenside castling, and in some lines remove the knight from the g file and then hit the flanks with the potential move g4. We have bishop to d6, queenside castling, kingside castling now by laser, and this becomes now our beautiful opposite side attack game where the kings are on opposite sides. Now we know the grip now who is faster on the attack will simply have, I think, great winning chances. So here we have knight to e2. The fish is preparing now finally the move g4, which is, we have to say it, already very risky. g4 g5 would then maybe even break here the position on the king side, and then maybe the h file could be open in some lines. You can get an earlier checkmate around the square h7. Here we have queen to c7. It's a certain theoretical novelty, but I think in the lead chess database you'll find many games in this line. In chess history, c5 has been played, rook to c8, and also some different ideas, but I think c5, queen to c7, and rook to c8 are the most powerful lines now for black. Here after move queen to c7, Stockfish continues with h5, which is of course controlling the g6 square. In some lines maybe there is an opportunity, if possible, to sack even something around the square g6, get the queen, maybe heavy artillery into the game. So it becomes really already unpleasant here for laser to defend this position. We have c5 by laser, and now Stockfish plays a very important move. Maybe you can pause the video and try to see now the best continuation here for white. What would you do now in this particular position? Would you play here g4 or knight to d7? What would be your plan here? Okay, here Stockfish plays very interesting line, knight takes d7. Basically, after here queen to d7, if that would have happened, this problem is actually here because the queen is then lined up here on the d file, like the queen on d3. Then after something like g4, it gets very tricky, because here after knight to g4, then of course here d takes c5 actually immediately wins the game here for black. Black can for white, pardon me, black can maybe play knight to f2. We take the bishop, you take the rook, but I think getting two minor pieces for the rook, I think, is completely winning here game for for white. So after move queen to d7, that laser did not play. The laser engine played knight takes d7, but let's see options after queen to d7 also. As we said, you can play g4. Then actually the only defensive idea here for black is to play the move c4. After queen to c4, now knight takes g4 would actually work here, because there is no tactic anymore. D takes c5 and similar stuff. Problems on the d file. Now after knight to g4, rook to g1, knight to f6, maybe f5, liberating the diagonal for the dark square. Bishop takes, but also with knight to g4, I think this would be defendable also here for black. So it's tricky. Probably queen to d7 was the better choice here for the laser chess engine, but here instead of queen to d7, laser played knight takes d7, which gave now Stockfish immediately the opportunity to hit the flanks with the move g4. Laser took, c takes d4, we have g5 immediately. Initiative here by Stockfish. Stockfish plays now simply on this brutal attack here on this side of the board. We have h takes g5, and now queen to d4 opens, of course, new possibilities here, especially with the move h6 here, and then maybe in some lines also checkmate threats are possible. We have rook from f to d8, lining up the rook where already the queen is. There are, of course, some tactical possibilities here. Stockfish continues with f takes g5. We have bishop to e5. Laser locks out now also this diagonal, kicks away the queen. Queen drops back to h4, and now rook to c8. You see, laser also found beautiful defensive tactics, and now there is even a checkmate threat in one with queen takes c2. So that's why Stockfish was forced now to play bishop takes c3, bishop takes c3, and knight takes c3. In the beginning, when I analyzed the game, it seemed to me this is defendable for black, but Stockfish is a different monster. Stockfish has here really new attacking ideas in mind. Stockfish plays after move knight to e5 here by laser. First of all, queen to e4. And the issue for black is here that black cannot trade off the queens on c6 or maybe c4 because the knight is hanging. So that's why laser tried knight to c4, is trying now to play knight takes b2, followed after king takes b2, maybe with queen to c3. So it's knight takes b2 is now the main tactical threat, but Stockfish continues with g6. Let's see now what happens if you play knight takes b2. If you play that, then of course rook to d8, and after rook to d8, now the one of those pieces will be deflected. Either the rook or the queen will be deflected from the c file. After rook takes d8, now we can finally play king takes b2, and this is game over. So that's why after move g6 that Stockfish played, laser didn't have time to play this move knight takes b2. Laser played, of course, rook takes d1, the only move here for black. We have rook takes d1, and again knight takes b2 would be very risky because of this idea. G takes f7, king to f7, then you get a check, queen comes into the game, and this is, in my opinion, not working. The king is simply too attacked, and now we can also support the knight with rook to f3, but also h6 is coming. This is very dangerous, so in my opinion, not a good continuation anymore here for black. So that's why for rook to d1, we have queen to b6. Here laser is again trying to deliver checkmate. Really crazy position, really also great counterattack by black. We have b3 by the fish, and now f5. So this move maybe was not the best continuation here for black, but even if you play this move that's actually suggested by my Stockfish engine at home, if you play queen to a5, seems tempting actually because of queen to a3 and similar ideas. Again, there are several checkmate threats, but now b takes c4 would be very dangerous, and after queen to c3, then rook to d7, and you can maybe try queen to f6. This one is coming. You could retreat here to d3. In my opinion, I have a call, sorry, we're not going to answer that. So after queen to d3 here, I think black is devastated here because the pawn on f7 is here, I think, something that bothers now black through the whole game. So we have now after move b3, as said, the move f5 here by laser. Laser did not play the move queen to a5, and Stockfish continues now with the beautiful idea queen to f4. And in the beginning, I didn't understand why was it so important to play queen to f4. Why especially there? Why didn't you maybe even trade off the queens, maybe simplify the game? But after queen to a5, now that laser played, Stockfish plays the beautiful knight to b5. This is the most spectacular move, I think, of this particular game. You could try here maybe b takes c4, and after queen to c3. I think the position is a little bit unclear. Still white probably better, but here of course also many weaknesses here in white's position, especially queen to a1 I think is very dangerous. Stockfish plays the beautiful here knight to b5. If you play here queen to b5, then the issue is this idea. Queen takes c4. This is the way they go. Look at this. You play rook queen to c. Pardon me. You play rook to c4. Then you get rook to d8 checkmate. And actually, after move g6, what Stockfish noticed is now the lack of the problem of here of the back rank problem. I think is here the most important problem to notice in black's position. So even if you play queen to c4, then after b takes c4, you have to step back. But actually, white gets the rook on the most important rank. White will get the rook on the 7th rank, and I think again game over here for black. So that's why after knight to b5, knight to a3 here played by the laser chess engine, and now Stockfish plays another stunner. Maybe you can pause the video and try to see now the best continuation here for white. Pause the video and try to see now simply the killer move here for white. Okay, here Stockfish plays the amazing queen to c7. Very wild stuff. Look at this. In the game, queen takes c7 had to be played. Again, rook to c7 is not working because of the checkmate threats on back rank. Here we have queen to c7, knight to c7. Again, laser cannot take, so that's why laser took the pawn on c2. Stockfish defended first of all. Here the knight on c7. We have knight to d4. Rook takes d4. Rook takes c7. Again, it seems so that laser is defending the position, but now king to d2, getting the king closer to the action. And again, black is facing several problems, especially here on the back rank. I think that's the most important problem here to notice. We have rook to c8. Laser had to retreat, and Stockfish again occupies the 7th rank, and from this point on I think the game's here one-way ticket in white's favor. So we have rook to b8 by laser. Stockfish attacks the pawn, delivers the check, gets the king closer. You see white can play freely with its king, so it's simply a very messed up game here for black. We have now after move a5, rook to e7. We have king to f8, and now Stockfish simply grabs this pawn. This pawn is weak and the position is falling apart here for black. We have rook to a8, rook to e5, king to g8, king to f4. We have b6, rook to f5, and here after move a4, rook to f7, a takes b3, and after a takes b3, in this position the laser chess engine resigned. There's always this problem, rook to b7, rook to b8, so Stockfish will eventually go for this pawn, will eventually take it, then also has this passer. Black can never leave the protection of the 8th rank, so great endgame technique here by Stockfish 15. So great game, interesting ideas I think of the Caro-Kann. I think you could face sometimes the similar position with the white pieces. Interesting, but of course also instructive line here played by Stockfish, in my opinion. Really beautiful Caro-Kann here played by Stockfish 15. So okay, I hope that you enjoyed this game. If you want to see more about the Caro-Kann defense, please check out our studies. Here's the link of our playlist, and if you want to see more beautiful Stockfish games, check out our commented chess games played by computer series. Here's also the link, and if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon with some more videos, and what do we say? Chess is the best, of course.